I was always the outlier in my family. Not in the I listen to weird music and wear black kind of way. I mean emotionally, fundamentally excluded. The kind of black sheep that gets quietly left out of family group chats, forgotten during holidays, and constantly compared to your more successful siblings. I was the afterthought, the filler character in the soap opera of their perfect suburban life. Growing up, the favoritism was glaring. My sister got a car for her 17th birthday. I got a half-used laptop and a "be grateful for what you have." My brother got a graduation party with 50 guests and a catered buffet. I got a $20 Amazon gift card and a lecture on how I should have applied myself harder. Anytime I brought it up, it was, "You're too sensitive," or "Stop playing the victim." So I stopped talking. I just faded into the background. But there was one person who did notice: my grandfather. He wasn't a loud or overly affectionate man, but he saw me, really saw me. He'd pull me aside during family gatherings and just ask how I was doing. Like, really ask. When I was 19 and going through a breakdown after being rejected from the college my parents pressured me to apply to, he was the one who took me out for coffee and told me, "You don't have to be like them. You just have to be you." I never forgot that. Fast forward a few years. My grandfather's health declined gradually. Cancer. Long, cruel fight. He lived the last 2 years of his life mostly at home with a nurse and homemaid. And out of everyone in the family, I was the only one who regularly visited him. My parents? Too busy. My siblings? He doesn't even remember who we are half the time. I went twice a week. Played cards with him, talked about books, helped organize his meds. It wasn't about the inheritance. It was about love. He was the only one who gave it to me freely. Then, he passed. I cried like hell the night I got the call. My family, well, they organized the funeral like it was a business meeting. My mom cried in front of people, but I saw her laugh at brunch 2 hours later. Then came the will reading. I showed up expecting to get, maybe a watch or some keepsake. I wasn't expecting much. The lawyer looked uncomfortable. Everyone was there. My parents, siblings, a few cousins. When he started reading, jaws hit the floor. To my grandson, OP, I leave my entire estate, including savings, property, and all assets. He was the only one who stood by me when no one else did. Cue screaming, accusations. My mom stood up, shaking, yelling that this was insanity. My brother stormed out, my sister cried and called me a manipulative bastard. I just sat there, stunned. The lawyer handed me a letter Grandpa wrote before he died. I'll never forget this line. "They never saw your worth." But I did. Now I hope you'll finally get to live the life they tried to deny you. What came next was absolute hell. After the will reading, I didn't go home. I sat in my car for an hour, trying to process the chaos I had just witnessed. Then the phone calls started. My mom. "He was old. He didn't know what he was doing." My brother. "You snake. You knew he was sick and took advantage of him." My sister. "You don't deserve it. He wasn't even mentally sound toward the end." I didn't respond. I just drove to the house my grandfather left me and sat in the silence. Over the next few days, the abuse escalated. Voicemails filled with guilt-tripping, texts that ranged from manipulative to downright hostile. I was called greedy, heartless, mentally unstable, and worse. I held the letter he wrote me every night like a shield. Then came the switch in tactics. Suddenly, they were nice. I started getting messages like, "We've been thinking a lot. Grandpa wouldn't want us fighting. Let's talk. Let's heal as a family. We don't care about the money. We care about you." Lies. All of it. They started hinting that I should share the inheritance, that it was unfair for one person to get it all, that Grandpa must have been confused and didn't really mean to cut them out entirely. My mom even invited me to a family dinner at her place for the first time in years. I declined. That's when the mask cracked again. She texted, "After all we did for you, this is how you repay us?" Then they went legal. Yep, they actually tried to sue me. Challenged the will on grounds of undue influence and lack of capacity. I got a lawyer immediately. Turned out, Grandpa's will was airtight. He had multiple witnesses, a video recording, and signed it in the presence of 2 attorneys. The challenge didn't even make it past initial review. Their case collapsed. Mine didn't. But the damage was done. I started getting messages from extended family saying I was tearing the family apart, that maybe you should just give them a cut to keep the peace. To hell with peace. And then came the final straw. A cousin sent me screenshots from a family group chat, the same one I wasn't in. They were mocking me, calling me the worm, the charity case, dumb enough to get lucky, and, get this, he'll blow it all in 5 years anyway. That was the moment I knew. They never loved me. They just want what I have now. I blocked every single one of them. Phone, socials, emails, changed locks. I went full no contact. It's been 3 months. I've been living in the home Grandpa left me. I'm in therapy. I sleep through the night. I cook my own food. I started painting again. There's peace. For the first time in my life, peace. I didn't ask for this war, but I'm glad I finally stopped trying to win people who only saw me as a burden. To Grandpa, wherever you are, thank you. You saved me even after you were gone. I was starting to feel free again. Then last night, my brother showed up at my door. Uninvited, unannounced. And he wasn't alone. Let me preface this by saying, I've been trying to move on. Genuinely. I'm in therapy. I've cut ties. I'm not flaunting the inheritance. I haven't bought a Lambo or posted anything on Instagram. I just wanted peace for the first time in my life. But apparently, peace is something my family can't let me have. So, last night, around 9:30 p.m., I hear a knock. I check the camera feed from my doorbell, expecting maybe a food delivery at the wrong house. Nope. It's my brother. And standing behind him, my mother. My stomach dropped. I hadn't seen either of them in person since the will reading. I literally felt like I was watching footage from some alternate universe. I didn't open the door. I spoke through the camera speaker. "You need to leave." My brother immediately stepped forward and said, "We just want to talk." Yeah, sure. Just like they just wanted to talk when they tried to sue me, or manipulate me, or lie to my face. I told them I'd call the police if they didn't leave. My mother, master manipulator that she is, put on the performance of the year. She stepped into full view of the camera, clutching her chest, voice trembling. "Please, sweetheart, I'm your mother. I gave you life. Can't we just sit down for 5 minutes?" I wish I could say I felt something. Pity, sadness, guilt. But I felt nothing. She emptied that tank years ago. I calmly said, "You lost the right to call me sweetheart the day you tried to erase me from Grandpa's life." That's when my brother snapped, loud enough to trigger the motion alert on the camera again. "You ungrateful little shit! You don't deserve that money. You don't even deserve to live in his house." He lunged toward the door like he was going to kick it in, but my mom held him back. She hissed something at him I couldn't hear, and they finally walked off. I waited 5 minutes, then called the non-emergency police line and filed a report. Gave them the footage and everything. They said since they didn't enter the property, it wasn't trespassing technically, but if they come back, they will be escorted off. And it gets worse. Today, I got a call from an unknown number. Voicemail. A pastor. From my mother's church. Apparently, she's now telling people I'm lost, being consumed by greed and spiritually broken. She asked the church to intervene and guide me back to the light. They're trying to recruit religion now to shame me back into the fold. Unbelievable. So here's where I'm at. All family is blocked. Doorbell cam is active. Lawyer is on standby. Alarm system getting upgraded. I'm documenting everything. And despite all that, I still live in a house filled with warmth. Not from them, but from him, my grandfather. His books are still here, his coffee mug, his handwriting on notes I find in drawers. This home is a reminder that someone believed in me when no one else did. So no, I'm not giving up. I'm not folding, and I'm sure as hell not giving them a cent. They had years to care. They chose to weaponize love instead. If there is enough interest, I'll keep updating. Something tells me this saga isn't over yet. It's been just under a week since my mother and brother showed up at my door. Since then, I've had more phone calls, text messages from unknown numbers, and now, voicemails from extended family I haven't heard from in years. Why? Because my family has now launched a full-blown campaign to paint me as the villain. Apparently, they're telling anyone who listened that I manipulated my grandfather when he was mentally vulnerable, that I isolated him from the rest of the family and got into his head before he died, that I pressured him to change the will. Let me be very clear. He made the will over a year before his death. He did it with 2 attorneys. There's a video of him reading it, explaining why. I wasn't even there when it was signed. He told me after it was done. Still, facts don't matter to people who are driven by entitlement. My cousin, one of the few I still speak to, sent me screenshots of a group message thread where my mother literally wrote, "He's just sad and confused. Once the grief wears off, he'll realize how much he needs us. We just have to be patient." Grief? No, I'm not grieving them. I'm grieving the illusion that I ever had a real family. On Tuesday, I got an envelope in the mail. No return address. Inside, a handwritten letter from my sister. I won't copy it all here, but here are some highlights. "We never meant to hurt you. Grandpa was old and confused. We just want what's fair. You're not thinking clearly. Money changes people. If you truly loved us, you'd want to share it. We're still your family. Blood doesn't break." At the bottom was a Post-it note. It said, "Come home. We forgive you." Let me repeat that. We forgive you. They are delusional. I didn't respond. I filed the letter away, documented it from my lawyer, and put it out of my mind. Until this morning, a woman knocked on my door around 10 a.m. She was in her 60s. I didn't recognize her at first. Turns out, she was my grandfather's old neighbor. She said she just wanted to talk, so I stepped outside with her. She told me she knew about the inheritance, that she had seen the way my grandfather's kids barely visited while I was always there. Then she looked me dead in the eye and said, "He once told me, the only one who loves me for who I am is my name. The rest just love my money." I never forgot that. I broke down crying right there in front of a woman I barely knew. She gave me a hug, then said, "He would have been proud of you for standing your ground." Here's what I've done since. Hired a security company to install exterior cameras and alarms. Switched my number, only 2 people have it. Updated the locks, again. Had a cease and desist letter drafted for any further harassment. Called the pastor from my mom's church and calmly told him to never contact me again and to stop enabling her delusions. I've also spoken with a financial planner. I'm setting up a scholarship fund in my grandfather's name. Small to start, but real. For students who've been neglected, under-supported, and told they'd never amount to anything. It won't fix what my family broke, but it's something he would have loved. My family still thinks this is about money. It's not. It's about respect, truth, and the right to be seen. They saw me as disposable until I became valuable. They don't want me. They want what I inherited. Well, they don't get either.